Shalom, Yasharallah, giving all praise and glory to the Most High Power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I was on, but I was shut off, so I had to find another way to get back on. All praise to the Most High. He made a way. Um, we're looking at the second day of Purim, a day that our enemies want to wipe us out, and that's to risk their life, go before the king without being called. And we got a second day to destroy those that were going to destroy us. So as always, I'm going to start with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shama Mashak Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, who was Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those 12 tribes, the Most High, he's the power of Israel. Those are the Israelites. We give thanks to the Most High by Shama Mashak Yahushua, because he's worthy to be thankful for everything. Oh, yeah. That's what that's. Holy, holy, holy is the Most High. So we're going to look at Esther. And like I said last night, I kind of went through the books of the Apocrypha, the editions of Esther. So you can look at that, you know, from perspective of what we covered last night. I'm going to look at Esther, the first chapter. And King Ahasuerus, he had ordained a feast, you know, and we're going to look at verse 7. It says, and he gave them drink in the vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse, different, one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king, right? And the drinking was according to the law. So them drinking was according to the law of the Persian and Medes, not the law of we the Israelites, that we got to drink in moderation. None did compel, but so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. You know, they could drink according to every man's pleasure. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the woman in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. So Vashti is his wife. She the queen. She made a banquet for the women, all the women together. When he's you know, having a feast with the men, the major men of his kingdom. So Vashti, she gonna do the same thing. She gonna have one with the women, as the man does, as the woman does, right? So it says on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath. Think about it, it's the Sabbath. It says on the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Cargus, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal, with the crown on her head. You want to show her off. Just show the people and the princess her beauty, you see? Vashti is a beautiful woman, so you want to show the people his beautiful queen, his beautiful wife. But she was fair to look on. She looked very well, right? She looked cool. I mean, beautiful. But the Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. You know, she disrespected him in not coming when he called for her. And mind you, that's the only time you could come to the king, is when he called. He's serving you to come. Then the king said to his wise men, which knew the times, but so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. That's the Persian and Medes law. Just like America has its laws, Britain has their law, Asians have their law. You know, everybody had their law, their rules and regulations, right? And the next under him was Karsina, Shethar, Amantha, Tarshish, Mary's, Barsina, and Memucan, the seven princes of Persia and Media. You see, this is a joint kingdom. The Persians, that's who they're fighting right now, Persians, and the Medes, who are Japheth people, which saw the king's face and which set the first in the kingdom. So they see he's pissed off because she didn't come. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? According to law, it said, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti, the queen, have not done wrong to the king only. He said, look, your queen, Vashti, has not done wrong just to you only as the king, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. So it's not just to you, it's to all the princes. You know, we're under you. In all the provinces of the King Ahasuerus, which is 127 different provinces. And mind you, we in all these 127 provinces. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women. I gotta hear this. This deed of the queen and disobeying the king commandment to come to him. He just wanted her to come to him to show her off. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. She didn't come. Likewise, so the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath behind this act that she's doing. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her a royal estate and to another that is better than she. And when the king's decree, which he had made, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, but it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. No matter if you have a great position in the Persian Media Empire or a small position in the Persian Media Empire. They say all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. And this is how it was. You know, at this time in the Persian Media Empire, all the way to the time I know I grew up, it was like that. And the same pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Memucan. We sent letters into all the king's provinces, 127, into every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house. Hear that? That every man should bear rule in his own house. These are heathens giving this order. This is the law, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published throughout according to the language of every people, no matter what language they speak. Make sure it goes out to every people, that they would know that every man would have control and rule over his house. Now, this going all the way back to Genesis, what the Most High told when Eve was dealing with another man, the serpent, and went against what the Most High had told her and Adam. Genesis 3:16. And unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. This is straight across the board to every woman, no matter what nation she is. And thou shalt bring forth children, excuse me, in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. That's the commandment from the Most High. And for the man, the first thing he told the man, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. That's why men have to really take heed to what it is that the woman is telling them, to apply whatever it is that she's saying to the laws, to the Bible, or what you have learned, so that you make sure that you make the right decision in ruling properly according to the way it's supposed to be. Because she might not know, but you don't set her down from her wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but you got to make the right decision. And women have to have the idea and know the mindset that a man is going to make that decision. That's what the Most High said. First he told Adam. What do you say? Because thou hast hearkened, listened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face. He's giving Adam a big, he told Eve a few things, right? But Adam, he's landing on him. Why? Because he's supposed to be ruling his household. Eve wasn't supposed to be doing that. This way say, thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, the ground. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, but dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. We weren't supposed to return to no dust. We're supposed to be living forever. He made us immortal to live forever. And when they did this, that's when we were ordained to die. That's why we died. So just wanted to bring that in so that you get an idea of why even in the Persian Media Empire, they're bringing it like, wow, you know, we can't allow the women to make that decision for themselves, whether they want to listen to the man or not. You know, it said from the small to the great. It didn't matter what position they had. That's just the way it's supposed to be. And it's going to be that way. I mean, and right now I look at the Bible for solutions. It's like we look at it in here to find out what it is that we should do to be right in the eyes of the Most High, as he's telling us over and over again. You know, we just don't listen. So Vashti got rid of her, you know, step aside so everybody's cool, you know. And now the king have to choose another queen. So he chose beautiful Esther. That's why she have a book by the name of Esther, you know, because she's very, you know, influential in saving us as a people, you know, because we was getting ready to be put to death. Let these heathen nations have their way. And it's reason, I mean, it's real sad that, you know, we as a people don't see what it is we need to see in reading the Bible and understanding that it's we, the people of the book, that is talking about us when you hear Israelites. And it's been said for so long, and we're scattered among all nations, you know, like I say, what's wrong with being right? What's wrong with being righteous? What's wrong with doing what the Most High said we're supposed to do? We have a problem with that. Even the heathen, we just heard what they said. And I just showed you what the Most High gave to us. You see? And some of those laws went right to the heathen too. They followed this. I mean, you can't say they ain't follow the same suit. They just did the same thing that the Most High said, hey, the man's gonna rule over the woman. They just brought that about clearly. So Esther has been chosen as the new queen. And when you look at Esther, the second chapter, the 15th verse. Uh, he had the women marinate themselves in oils and precious herbs and so forth for months and 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 months. So now you look at Esther, the second chapter, the 15th verses. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abigail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. And she was beautiful. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. He reigned 7 years, the 7th year of his reign. And King loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So he set the royal crown upon Esther's head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. Gave everybody gifts. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people. So she kept that from him, who she was. Now, she was Mordecai's cousin. You know, a lot of people say Mordecai was her uncle. No, she was Mordecai's cousin. Mordecai was an older cousin that took her in as his daughter. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people. So the king Ahasuerus didn't know that she was an Israelite. As Mordecai had charged her, he told her, don't tell that you're Israelite. But Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. She listened to him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlain, Bigthan and the rest of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. It was mad and sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus, put him to death. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree. It was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So they got their chronicles too. It was written in their books that these two cats were trying to kill the king. But remember, Mordecai is the one that let Esther know, that let the king know, hey, these cats trying to kill you. So now, chapter 3. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. So he put him right underneath the king. But Mordecai bowed not. He's an Israelite. We ain't bowing to nothing you can see. Anything challenging what you can see, ain't no bowing down to nothing. Why? Exodus 20th chapter. All praise the Most High. And Most High spake all these words, saying, verse 1, I am the Most High, thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods, no other idols before me. He said, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Well, this is the point that you need to understand. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Ain't nothing you can see that's tangible you can bow down to. Nothing. That's what he's saying. Thou, because people be looking at certain things that we might have, you know, as Israelites, but ain't nobody bowing down to nothing and saying, this is Most High. We praise you, Most High. We say, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Whatever you can see tangible. The best thing I can tell you, the Most High dwell in thick darkness. Just close your eyes and you see darkness. Thick darkness, right? So you ain't seeing nothing. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. That's something that's made, that's tangible. You can see Most High's invisible power. For I, the Most High, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity, the wickedness, the evil, the sins of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Because you hate him if you are looking at anything that's tangible and you praying to it, or you praying before it. Like some of y'all got shrines, y'all call it, and you go into your little prayer room and you bow down before a cross and all that. I seen the Pope do that. Come down the steps and went to a little cross and bow on his head and keep praying. So what do you think all the Catholics gonna be doing? The same thing he doing. Most how you supposed to do that at all. And showing mercy unto thousands of them. Mercy is not getting something you do deserve to get. Showing mercy unto thousands of them that love him. And if you love him, what do he say? And keep his commandments. It don't change much. I said the same thing. If you love me, in John 14:15, keep my commandments. Most I said the same thing in 1 John 5:3. This the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments. And commandments are not grievous. So there it is. So now, going back to Esther, the 3rd chapter, this Haman, he want to be somebody. He want everybody to bow down to him. Reverence Haman. Verse 2 of Esther, the 3rd chapter. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, bowed down to this Edomite. For the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, see, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. Bunch of snitches. And he had told them that he was a Jew. He told them, I'm an Israelite, man. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath, got an attitude, want to be somebody. This is Edomite in the Persian Mede Empire. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. But they had showed him the people of Mordecai, who are the Israelites. Remember, we scattered among these 127 provinces. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai, who are the Israelites. You got 127 different provinces that we're scattered in, that Haman is plotting to kill all of us. In the 1st month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Purim, that is the lot. Even Haman from day to day, like dice, throwing them out there. And from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar, right? And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people gathered abroad and dispersed among the people. I mean, he had all this time to come up with this wicked plot to have us put to death. So now you're going to the king. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, verse 8, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse, different from all people. Our laws are different from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. See? Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. You know, the main thing he's concerned about, the law of them reverencing him, this Edomite, Amalekite, so-called Jewish man today. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay listen to this, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. 10,000 talents, he said. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Edomite, the Jews' enemy. Come on, the Jews' enemy. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 28:68, what does it say? The Most High shall bring you into Egypt, which means captivity and slavery and bondage. We just read that in Exodus 20:2. The Most High shall send you into captivity, slavery, and bondage, which is Egypt, again another time with ships. Say, the place where I'm speaking to you, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women, and no man shall buy you. You'll be sold to your enemies, not to your friends. Here it is, it's telling you, the Jews' enemy. Now, it's clear to me. Verse 11, that's the 3:11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemed good to thee. He don't know that he's talking about his queen, people. Remember, she didn't reveal herself to him. Therefore, he's telling him, hey, you can do whatever you want to these people. They don't want to listen. Why? You know, the scripture tells us in Ecclesiastes 12:10, it says, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusters, so is his wickedness. As iron rusters, take a little time for iron to rust. He says, so is his wickedness. Though he humbled himself, he act like he's really, cool with you or with our people, and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. See right through him. And thou shalt know that his rust, that's his wickedness, his evil, has not been altogether wiped away. You're gonna know that his evil and his wickedness have not been wiped away. So he said them not before thee, by thee. Don't let them come near you, lest when he have overthrown thee, that's his objective, to overthrow you, he stand in thy place. He stand in your place. You to let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Tear your butt up. You're gonna feel like, ugh. Think about it. I mean, you can't really look, because it tells you in, think about it, Mashiach the Messiah. Let's go to him. In 1 Maccabees 3:48. It's real bold. In 1 Maccabees 3:48. And laid open the book of the law, the Bible, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. Hear that? He knew this coming on the earth. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. I mean, you can no clearer than this. This is what they did. This is what they was doing. I mean, this ain't nothing new. This is just bringing forth the understanding of how it is that the Most High made them. They in order. Look, they're in order. Any way you look at it, it's just we out of order and not being righteous. I'm gonna tell you Proverbs 16:4, and I'm dealing with this pertaining to Haman, the Edomite. It says Proverbs 16:4, the Most High have made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. Right? Unless I read Job 9:24, says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He who is the wicked covered the faces of the judges thereof. Come on now. A picture worth 1,000 words. Cover the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So, hey, Most High made them for the day of evil. And you can see that's what we're dealing with here. So now, and going back to Haman's plot to kill all of us. That's the 3rd chapter, verse 12. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the 1st month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers and every people of every province, 127 provinces, remember that, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring, you know, that signet ring that they have, boom, they put their mark on it. Boom. Like they had a seal of whatever state or whatever city you in, they have a certain seal that they put on it. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, all Israelites, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month. Now, where we at? We look how long it is that they plotted this. The third, going back to verse 12, then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the 1st month. You see how long it was? Now you got to look at that. The 1st month, 13th day, right? So we got 11 months. We hearing about it. Man, they're gonna kill us, man. They're gonna kill us, man. They're plotting to kill us. Like you should be knowing about Jacob's trouble right now, if you're Israelite. It's written. So there's no need to trying to get ready. You gotta be ready. Because you're supposed to know the future. There's no reason why you should be walking around and they catch you off guard when you see what's happening. So you gotta be ready. Can't wait to get ready. You gotta be ready. First and foremost, with the Most High. Have a relationship with the Most High, knowing Him, praising Him, giving Him the glory, talking about Him, being about Him. He's the only one gonna save us. That's why He's talking about it. Look, you'll see. Don't wait till it's the time that you gonna try and get next to Him and you ain't been next to Him. You ain't been trying to exalt Him, praise Him. Y'all talking about all praises and APTTM, and whatever y'all say, that's like, can't give Him the ultimate praise. I mean, you can't praise Him enough. Y'all better understand, man. And you'll see, if you understand the prophets and even Esther and the women, Judith, you name the women, even the women knew, man. How we don't know. And we have more than anybody have. We just living now, we have more than anyone else have. Nobody else have more than we have. Because who you can say that had the book of Revelation? Did Paul have, y'all always run to Paul's writing, did he have a book of Revelation? Talk to me. You always running your mouth about everything else. We have it. That's prophecies. We have it. They didn't have it. That's why it's important for you to see how important we are and what we got to do so that we be all right when these things go down. Some of us going to be all right. Most High Ra to Zawan. Most High will. Some not, because they're not going to really hear the message in the last days. It should be heard. Like here. They trying to wipe us out. Y'all better understand. Go to Revelation. I go there all the time. Revelation 12 and 12. This for us. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth. We on the earth and of the sea. Some of our people in the sea. For the devil is come down unto you. Why? Having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that he have but a short time. You see? He know he got a short time. So what is he going to do? And who is he coming down on? Verse 17. And the dragon, who's the devil, the serpent, beast, Esau, the Edomites, the dragon, all them red, was wrought with the woman. We symbolically is the woman. Jeremiah 6:2 says, hey, I liken the daughter of Zion, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, to a comely and delicate woman. So he's going to be wrought with us, the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant. That's that 1/3 of the seed of her seed. Salakia. Was keep the commandments of the Most High. Now you tell me this. Do the Catholic, the Israelite that's Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Baptist, Church of God, Church of Christ, Church of whoever, whatever, Lutheran, whatever, Seventh-day Adventists, any of them keep the law, commandments of the Most High. They teaching the commandments of the Most High, the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and sacrificial laws. To know them? No. It's talking about we the Israelites, because we got nets, not the ones that's 2/3, the one that's not, following the commandments of the Most High, telling you ain't under the law. I'm doing a series on that. Talking about we ain't under the law, we under grace. Give me a break. We just keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of a Mashiach Yahushua. You better hear this. Better hear this. For real. 2nd Ezra 16 and 71. I mean, I'm just bringing it home for us because the same spirit that's there ain't left. Still here in our face every day. Behold, Most of himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins and sin is the transgression of the Most High's laws. And forget your iniquities to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth to deliver you from all your trouble, from all trouble. Better hear what he's saying. I hear him clearly. What part y'all don't hear? Look, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Most High. Those that fear the Most High. That's what we teach us. So there wasn't fear the Most High. You better be afraid and scared of them. Listen. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Most High. That's real. That's Jacob's trouble right there. That's why it's going to be martyrs. But they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall it be known. Then there shall be known. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold is in the fire. So that's real, y'all. That's for us. But he also says, during all that time that these things are going to be going on, Jacob's trouble and so forth, he also gave us this, but those that have a jump start of exalting the Most High and following what he said do. 2nd Ezra 2, the 2nd chapter, and the 26th verse. He said, as for the servants who are the Israelites, whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish. For I will require them from among thy number. It's going to be some of us that are not going to perish. He said, the servants, we the servants of the Most High. He said, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish. For I will require them from among thy number, your number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, this is where you want to be. This Jacob's trouble. You heard what he just said in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. We just read that. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Someone's going to be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee. These are the nations that come down on us. They're going to envy us. But they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Most High. That's where you want to be, y'all. That's where I want to be. That's why it's so important to have a relationship with the Most High, promote him, instead of your own way of trying to be somebody and just damn, it's like Haman, like the Edomite. Want to be somebody in the Persian Mede Empire. And he got right under the king. So now, so he sent all these letters out that, and you got to think about, like I said, they had all that time to think about, man, they're going to kill us in the last month. They ordained this on the first month on the 13th day. So you got 11 months. You know, on the 14th day of the last month of the year, they plan on killing us. So Esther, the 4th chapter. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, verse 1, Mordecai rent his clothes, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and wept all into the midst of the city, out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud and bitter cry. He came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. You didn't come in there with no sackcloth on, no burlap and looking like, you know, you actually fasting and praying and crying. He didn't have none of that. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing. Many lay in sackcloth and ashes. We had 11 months, y'all, of knowing that this day is the day they ordained to kill us. So we in sackcloth and fasting and weeping, and that's the only time the Most High have pity on us. That's humility. And that's just maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. There was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai. He take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not, because he's in mourning, knowing the fact. 11 months he's in mourning, knowing that on the 13th day of this 12th month, the 14th day of this 12th month, they're gonna kill us. Then came Esther to Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, whom we had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatak went forth to Mordecai into the street of the city, which was before the king's gate, and Mordecai told her all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasurers for the Jews to be destroyed. Man, to destroy us. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people, for we the Israelites. Remember, she ain't tell King Ahasuerus that she was an Israelite. She kept it from him, so he don't know. But he tell her to go in there and tell the king what they're trying to do to her people. It'll make a difference. He know. Beautiful to see her. She go in there. You know how y'all women are. Y'all go in there, sweet talking and stuff, man. Be hard to resist. And say, and Hathach came just like Adam. We just read about Adam, right? Hey, it is what it is. That's why these are examples that we have. And Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hathach and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. Go tell Mordecai this. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, the king didn't call you into his inner court, there is one law of his to put him to death. If you want to go in there, you ain't called, there's one law. It said, put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out this golden scepter that he may live. You hold out the golden scepter, you'll live. But he put it down, but I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. So, hey, the king put the scepter down, the rule was to put him to death. You hold it up, put it on him, hey, you can live. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. Don't think because you in the king's house, because you the queen, that you're going to escape this judgment more than we that's out here getting ready to deal with this judgment of them trying to put us to death. If thou altogether holdeth thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. Mordecai told her, you're going to die. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Just like Joseph. You know, his brother was, they didn't like him, you know, because Yaakov had made, you know, Joseph just coat of many colors and showed favor his young son that he had at his old age. And his sons, his brother, didn't like him. He didn't like Joseph. Remember, they wanted to kill him? And Judah said, no, don't kill him. They was going to kill him. That's how we are, man. They was going to kill their own brother. That's how jealous they was. And so Judah said, no, they sold him to the Arabs, Ishmaelites. And they sold him to the Egyptians. That was the point, you know. For the time the famine came, they would have been wiped out. But no, Joseph was next in charge. When they came see him, hey, he was able to give them food and, you know, take care of them, set them up. And when the king died, Joseph was in charge. People can't really see that. We ruled for 350 years. But Joseph being in charge and all the ones that are coming for that amount of time, man, wasn't slaves in Egypt all that long time. But that was his purpose. Moses had him there, so he went through all of that, but he was next in charge. Once the first king, the first pharaoh died, Joseph took over. That was his purpose, to be there to save us as a people. Like he's telling Esther, you're there for a purpose. Like he said, what did he say? Know it, who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews and that are present at Susan and fast before me. And neither eat nor drink. That's the ultimate fast. You don't eat or you don't drink anything. You tell them, hey, don't eat, don't drink. All of us together, praying together. A nationwide fast. And neither eat nor drink 3 days, night nor day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. If he kill me, I die. I'm gone. That's faith right there. For your people. That's faith right there to the utmost, to the Most High. Because, you know, we fasted and praying to the Most High. We praying to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob been the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, who was Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. She said, if I perish, I perish. Come on. That's love for your people right there. He said, if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. And we read last night the prayer of Esther, that she prayed to the Most High. It wasn't just fasting, not eating anything or drinking anything. No. She prayed to the Most High. I'm not going to read the whole prayer, but I just want to read part of the prayer. It's powerful, man. You can read this in Esther, the 14th chapter. It's powerful, man. I mean, she said, hey, the king, he hadn't called her. So if he go in and he put his scepter down, especially you got to look at, he was rocked with Vashti because she didn't come. Now she just going to bust in there on him like that without him calling her. Don't know what he's talking about, what he's dealing with. Could be dealing with business that's secret that only his chamberlain is supposed to know. So here it is. Here's our prayer. Some of y'all say you read from 1 on down. I'm gonna start at verse 12. Well, let's read verse 11. I love this. O Most High, give not thy scepter, that's your power and authority, to them that be nothing. So you look at these other nations. This is our prayer. Don't give your rulership, your powers and authority unto them that be nothing. Talking about Haman and all his men that's going to come against her. and all those that's joined unto them. Because it's the other nations. It's not the Israelites. It's the other nations that's planning to kill us on the 14th day of the 12th month. You understand? We're in the 15th day of the 12th month tonight, right? We celebrate the 14th day, that day they plan on killing us, that we got the victory over them last night. This is the second day. There's a reason why we have the second day. You're going to find that out. Say, O Most High, give not thy scepter, that power and authority unto them that are nothing. When you read Isaiah 40 and 17, it says, all the nations before the Most High is nothing and less than nothing, and vanity, it says, and let them not laugh at our fall. Our is the 12 tribes of Israel. For all those that are gathered within the Persian and Median Empire, it's mainly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but other nations of our nation was with us also. But turn their device upon themselves. She fasted praying this, and make him an example that had begun this against us. Remember, O Most High, make thyself known in time of our affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations, and power of all power. Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Because remember, she's going before the king. Turn his heart to hate him that fighteth against us. Just a prayer that she's praying. Turn his heart to hate him that fighteth against us. That's this wicked Haman, Edomite, that's plotting to kill us. That there may be an end of him, and of all that are like-minded to him. All those that are like-minded to try and put us to death as the Israelites. But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that I am desolate, and which have no other helper but thee. What other helper do we have but the Most High? That's why I love this, because this is what I'm teaching, this is what I'm about, and this is what's being said. It is what the Most High love. You want prayers to be answered, but then still you ain't exalting the Most High. Look, thou knowest all things, O Most High. Boasting about the Most High. To him, thou knowest all things, O Most High. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the uncircumcised, the unrighteous. He hate the glory of the unrighteous. And to be righteous, you have to keep the commandments of the Most High. Simple as that. Psalms 119, 172 defines what righteousness is. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. See, all the Most High's commandments are righteousness. It's beautiful, isn't it? Sounds great to me. So she's saying, I hate the glory of the unrighteous. Some of y'all love the glory of the unrighteous, because y'all want to be right there with them. I want to be all involved with them. Most I said, learn not to wear the heathen. You join unto them, you're going to fall with them. You hear what she said? I hate the glory of the unrighteous. And abhor, that means hate the bed of the uncircumcised. And of all the heathen. You hear that? And of all the heathen. Not only this uncircumcised King Ahasuerus, but of all the heathen, she said. Thou knowest my necessity. For I abhor, that means hate. The sign of my high estate. So I hate the fact that I'm queen, which is upon mine head, in the days wherein I show myself. This dang on crown I gotta wear. And that I abhor, over and over again, she hate it as a mistress rag, like a kotex. I can't put it no different than that. And that I wear it not when I am private, by myself. I throw it to the side when I'm by myself. And that thine handmaid have not eaten at Haman's table. They say Haman's here, but it's dealing with the Greek, but it's still talking about what we're reading about in the Revised Version, King James Bible, 1611 Bible. His name is Haman, Haman's table, and that I have not greatly esteemed the king's feast, nor drunk the wine or the drink offerings. Neither had thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to this present, but in thee, O Most High, power of Abraham, O thou mighty power above all, hear the voice of the forlorn, and deliver us out of the hands of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear. Straight up. And upon the third day, when she had ended her prayer, she laid away her mourning garments. Let me show you how the in depth of how she went into being humble before the Most High. Let's look up here at verse 2. And laid away her glorious garment, apparel, which is her, queen's garment, and put on the garments of anguish and mourning. And instead of precious ointments, this is what she did. She covered her head with ashes and dung. She covered her head. Her head, and didn't say her forehead, didn't say her cheeks or nothing. She covered her whole head with ashes and dung. That's feces. And she humbled her body greatly. In all the places of her joy, she filled with her torn hair. She tore her hair out. Put ashes on her face and dung, feces. Ezra 15:1. And upon the third day, when she had ended her prayers, 3 days she was like that. Remember, she told everybody to fast 3 days and 3 nights. She laid away her mourning garments and put on her glorious apparel, and being gloriously adorned, after she had called upon the Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is the beholder and savior of all things, she took 2 maidens with her. She went going into the king. Let's go back here to Esther in the King James 1611 Bible. And you see, she had at verse chapter 4, verse 16, she said, "Go gather together all the Jews that are present at Susan, and fast ye before me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, like she did, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law." Remember, she hadn't been in front of him. He hadn't called her for 30 days. And if I perish, I perish. You hear that? That's bold right there. He said, if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel. You see the same thing that we just read in the editions of Esther in the Apocrypha, and stood in the inner court of the king's house over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. It was so. The king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. So what happened? If she obtained favor in his sight, what happened? What happened? The Most High answered her prayer. And he answered her prayer. And shalom, everyone. Give me a like. I see some people in here. Like and share. If you can, and hit the bell so you'll know whenever I come on. Verse 2. And it was so that when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. The Most High answered her prayer, answering her prayer so far. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter. He held it out, the golden scepter to her. That was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. She came and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, what is it? What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? What do you want me to do? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom. Wow. He said, whatever you want, baby. I'll give you half the kingdom. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. And the king said, cause Haman to make haste, to come quickly, that he may do as Esther has said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared, right? And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? What do you want me to do? And shall it be granted? It shall be granted to thee. And what is thy request? What do you want me to do? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Wow. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I have prepared for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said. I'll tell you. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. Remember, he don't know that Esther is an Israelite. He don't know, dang, with the king's signet ring, that all of us supposed to be put to death on the 14th day of the 12th month. So now Esther said, hey, I want to host a banquet with you, king, and Haman, right? The Edomite. Then when Haman, verse 9, then Haman forth that day joyful with a glad heart, he happy as can be. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. He hated Mordecai. This Edomite hated Mordecai because he ain't give reference to him. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and to rest his wife. He started bragging to him, yeah, I'm going to have a banquet with the king and the queen tomorrow. She's making a special banquet for us, me and the king. So verse 13 says, yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gate. What a difference. Time makes. I mean, it really sits, hard with me and looking at, this is the ones that claim to be us against we, the real Israelites. Mordecai. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made. Look at that. Hear that woman, boy. Let gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. See, it wasn't even Haman's idea. It was his wife and all his friends. She just opened up her mouth and said it. Let a gallows be made of 50 cubits. These are gallows are the wooden frames that you hang people on. Of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. Had him make all these gallows to hang Mordecai on. And others, right? Chapter 6. On that night, could not the king sleep. He commanded to bring the book of the records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. It was found written, it's very key, that Mordecai had told Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king of Ahasuerus. Remember we read that about, we talked about that earlier. That when Mordecai heard him plotting to kill the king, and he told Esther to tell the king he had him hung. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servants, that ministered to him, there was nothing done for him. Ain't nothing been done for Mordecai. He saved your life. These cats was trying to kill him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai, the same one he gave a honor, the same one that saved his life, on the gallows that he had prepared for him. He had the gallows built with the hangman loose hanging down. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor? So now, Haman with his wicked, evil, prideful butt, well, what should I do to the man the king wants to honor? So first thing he gonna think about himself, right? Now Haman thought in his heart, in his mind, the whom would the king delight to do honor more than me, than myself, right? And Haman answered the king for the man, he's answering for something he want himself. He don't know the fact that the king is talking about Mordecai to save his life. But here he is, he said, hey, Haman answered the king, verse 7, for the man whom the king delighted to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king uses to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal, which is set upon his head. You can put the crown on his head. See, that's why I told you, you sell them near you, they're gonna want to take their place. Take your place. Never trust that enemy, right? Just what if he's gonna take the king's crown, ride on the king's horse, that's taking his place. And let this apparel put on the robe, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback to the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. Then the king said to Haman, make haste. That's a good idea. Make haste. And take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai, the Jew. How you think he felt? He just said all these things for himself. And he told him, hey, remember he planned to kill Mordecai. He built the gallows to kill Mordecai. And I mean, he just mowed it to the utmost. He said, hey, take all these things. Just, I like that idea. Make haste, do it fast, and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai, the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast said. Don't let nothing fail that you have said. Make sure you do everything you said. That's a great idea. Remember, he said all the things is gonna be him. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai. He doing it himself. Think about, and brought him on horseback through the street. Somebody he really hate to the utmost of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate. But Haman hastened to his house mourning and having his head covered. And Haman told her to Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him. He followed him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh, his wife, unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains, and hastened to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared. Remember, she had told him, I'm gonna prepare a banquet for you. Now she don't know what had happened, and he don't know that she's an Israelite, and she knows that he's plotting to kill her people. While she having this banquet with the king and Haman. He's been molded already, right? So here go to the second mold. Esther 37. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said it again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine. What is thy petition, Queen Esther? What do you want? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom. If you want half of the kingdom, baby, you got it. Then Esther and the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. Now, she's starting to identify herself as an Israelite because he didn't know that she was an Israelite. He didn't know that the decree that's going out will be her people, that they will kill all of us on the 14th day of the 12th month. But we are sold, I am my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had sold, for if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, slave men and bond and slave women, I had held my tongue. I'd have been quiet. Although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king of Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther, the queen, who is he? And where is he that does presume in his heart to do so? Mind you, Haman right there. And Esther said, the adversary of the enemy is this wicked Haman. Remember, Job 9:24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He who is the wicked covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is it? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther, the queen. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. That look that the king had, when he's angry, he knew death was coming to him. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereof Esther was. Then said the king, will you force the queen? You gonna rape my wife? You gonna rape the queen? Also, before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face, covered his face over. In Harbana, one of the chamberlains said unto the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, saved your life, made sure you know them 2 men was trying to kill you, stand up in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him there, or hang Haman there. And they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Chapter 8. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman and the Jews' enemy, you hear that? The Jews' enemy, this Edomite Haman, the Jews' enemy, our enemy as the Israelites, under Esther, the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, but Esther had told what he was unto her. He was her cousin. He wasn't her uncle, as someone said. He was her cousin, her older cousin that took her in and took, raised her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. Esther spake yet again before the king and fell down at his feet and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, which is an Edomite, which is an Amalekite. And his device that he had devised against the Jews. Remember, it's going to kill us. They started from the first month to the 13th, on the 13th day. And we had all that time until the 12th month, the 14th day, 11 months of knowing that they planning to kill us. We as the Israelites, while we wailing and crying and fasting and so forth. He said, the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, which she was, beautiful as can be, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which is the Edomite, which is the Amalekite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces, excuse me, which is 124 provinces that we were scattered in. And their plot was to kill all of us that was in these 127 provinces. Well, how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king of Ahasuerus said unto Esther, the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hands upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh. Whatever you want, just write it down in the king's name, in my name, and seal it with the king's ring. Say, put my seal on that decree, that whatever the decree is that you want, just put my signature ring on it. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring, made no man reverse. That's like they have things that we see here. He put the seal of California, the seal of Los Angeles, the seal of whatever city you live in. Then what the king's scribes called at that time in the third month, that is the month Sivan, on the 3 and 20th day thereof, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to deputies, and to the rulers of the provinces, which are from India and Ethiopia, and 127 provinces, like I told you over and over again, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, which had different languages. To the Jews, according to their writing, and according to their language, who spoke Hebrew. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted to Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. Upon one day, all the provinces, 127 provinces that we all were scattered in as Israelites of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. Think about this. When did they write this? The 3 and 20th day, let's see, the third month. Remember the first month on the 14th day, 13th day, he ordained that we will be killed. In the 12th month, the 12th month on the 14th day, right? So this is on the third month, that is the month Sivan, on the 3 and 20th day, on the 23rd day of the third month. So you still have what? 9 more months before the 12th month. Think about that. This is going out, so we preparing. We allowing time to prepare. Whereas we're allowing, a little time to look at mourning and fasting and praying, that, and weeping and crying to the Most High that they're going to kill us in the months to come. It's a plot to kill us. So now that stopped short on the third month, the 23rd day. From the first month, the 13th day. So that's like a month and a few, maybe 2 months, maybe a little over 2 months. We were crying and sighing and, to the Most High, save us, fasting and so forth, weeping and crying to the Most High. Now it's stopped. So we got all this time to go before we're going to be able to bring this about. On the last, the last month, 12th month, on the 14th day. So they sent all this decree out upon one, verse 12, upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus named you upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. You see that? So we got like 9 months. This was on the instead of third month, the 23rd day. So we got like pretty much, almost 9 months. Take away 10 days or 9 days to think about and plan how we're going to kill these people. Listen, because it says, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. And the copy of the letters of this writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published upon all the people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So now the enemies have almost 11 months, what 9 months, 9 months to who they gonna cry to? What they gonna do? They gonna cry to their idols to see if their idols gonna help them? Who they gonna cry to? They can't cry to the Most High, because the Most High the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, point blank. So now, verse 15, and Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white. He decked him out. Blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. That's royalty. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. Think about it. Knowing that the Israelite man been raised up against this wicked Haman, put to death behind, want to kill us. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province, 127, and in every city, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews. Think about that. For the fear of the Jews fell upon them. Think about it. You're not an Israelite. And you know that the 12th month, you got from the 3rd month all the way through the 12th month, almost 9 months. And what's the talk? They gonna kill everybody. Everybody was joined with Haman. A lot of probably trying to get up out of there. Everybody that was joined with Haman to kill us, gonna be killed. You got the 1st month, the 2nd month, the 3rd month, the 4th month, the 5th month. Everybody's looking at, man, it's getting closer and closer to the time that they're gonna kill everybody that was gonna kill them. All the way to the 9th month. Yeah. So they became Jews, meaning they want to join with us. They want to be with us. Just like everybody, I can tell everybody gonna want to gather blackness, everybody gonna want to be with us during the time that's gonna come. Believe this. When they see that, look, I ain't gonna talk about it. Look, this is what they gonna be doing. Become a Jew, they gonna want to look. Zechariah 8 and 22-23, it says, yeah, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Most High, power of hope, power of army of angels in Jerusalem, and to pray before the Most High. Thus say the Most High, power of hopes. In those days it shall come to pass, a future prophecy, that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that the Most High is with you. See that? So they want to come with us, then they're going to say, hey, we're going to go with you because we heard that the Most High is with you. That's the future. So now, Esther, the 9th chapter. Now in the 12th month, now we in that time, all this time that went by, in that 12th month, 12th month, 14th day, when he ordained that they're going to kill us. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the month of same, when the king's commandment and his decree grew near to be put into execution, all this time, y'all, you got to see that all this time, these nations know, man, they're going to get us. Wow. We was down with Haman. And we know who it was that was, they probably talking about, how they are. They ain't hold back. Yeah, we're going to get y'all. We're going to get y'all. So Esther 9. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Dar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree grew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews, not the friends, but the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews, we the Israelites, had ruled over them that hated them. This ain't no love. These nations hate us. They've always been down with those that hated us. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them. For the fear of them fell upon all people through the power of who? The Most High. All praise to the Most High. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants and the deputies and the officers of the king helped the Jews. They were down with us because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them, because now Mordecai is a bad man. He's been raised up, y'all. But Mordecai was great in the king's house. And his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. You hear that? In the Persian and Mede Empire. This Israelite, Mordecai, he was raised up. He waxed greater and greater. You don't see that in this kingdom here. That's why it's got to go down. Things gonna go down as written, because we're not being raised up like this. They should be coming to us, learning what we're learning, and we're teaching. And in Shushan, the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And in Shushan, the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha, these are men that were down with Haman. The either Edomites down with him or the other nations down with Haman, this Edomite, that wanted to kill us. And Parshandatha and Dalphon and Alphatha and Boatha. Think about this. You just hit me just now. You ain't gonna never hear this story like this written, that we reading about in the churches. Baptist church, we're gonna go here and talk about this and relate it to you, and you a Gentile, they think you a Gentile. It makes no difference. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all to them. This is our story right here. Verse 8. And Horatha and Adelia and Eradatha and Parmastha and Risha and Arada and Bezazada, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, 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 slew they, put on the spoil, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. Remember, he said you can get whatever you want. The king said we can get whatever we want. Once we kill them, these people that's going to kill us, that Haman had down with him, that wanted to kill us, he said once we kill them, we can get everything they have. But you see what we did? We laid not our hands on the spoil. We didn't kill them what they had. You hear that? But on the spoil, whatever they had, laid they not their hand. We didn't want nothing they had. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan, the palace, was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan, the palace. And the 10 sons of Haman, what have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is that petition? It shall be granted thee. Or what is thy request further? And it shall be done. Then said Esther, to please the king, that it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan, to do tomorrow also according to until this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. You got Haman hanging on the gallows. Now put his 10 sons on the gallows. Since you want to put Mordecai and us on the gallows, what a decree. And the king commanded it so to be done. They already killed them. He said, they dead. Take their bodies and hang them up on the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be. Verse 14. And the decree was given at Susan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Susan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month of Adar. That's their 12th month, y'all. Remember this decree that we got the decree to be able to kill our enemies in that 3rd month on the 23rd day. So all that time we had to plot how we gonna kill them, and people knew that wanted to kill us that the decree was reversed, and even the king's men, powerful men, was down with us killing these other nations. But the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together, verse 15, on the 14th day also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hand, did take nothing they had. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes, which is enemies, 75,000. But they laid not their hands on their prey, on the prey. They ain't touched nothing they had. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness, having a good time, feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending the portions one to another. It's like they do on Christmas. This is what we did on, we could do on any day really, but this is what we did on Purim. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, both nigh and both near and far, and established this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month of Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly. And this is what we're doing. You know, this is our culture. We keep these days of Purim, the 14th and the 15th day of the same yearly on the 12th month. And generally, you'll know that the Passover generally is 1 month after Purim, because the Passover was on the 1st month on the 14th day. We're not talking about how, you know, because this is like the 15th day, whereas today is the 2nd of Esau's 3rd month. It has nothing to do with that, because we count this by the moon. You know, when we started our new moon or new month, and you count 14 days, and that creates the day of Purim, and the 15th day. And then the 14th day of the 1st month is going to be the Passover, unless the barley in Israel is different. That's we kind of like go by it, you know. But it might be the next month, but this year it's going to fall on the 1st of the 4th month, Passover. So it says, verse 21, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, 14th to 15th day. So the 15th day of the 1st month is the feast of unleavened bread, where we all come together having a feast. Where Passover was pretty much done in the home, but it could be done, you know, in a place of gathering also, but it was mainly done in the home. The 15th day is the day that we come together. That's why Mashiach was shy. They said, we're going to host the Passover. He said, in the upper room, it was just him and his disciples. Everybody else was, you know, at home doing the Passover. It was written in the law of Moses. But that's why he said, get rid of him and have him, you know, in the tomb before that evening. That's the law. But that's, you know, on that everybody going to come together. Everybody come together on the 15th day. They will find out what they have done, you know. So verse 22nd, the 22nd verse says, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor, helping the poor. Just like they do on Christmas is what we did for this particular day. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast purge, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded thy letters, that is wicked device which he devised against the Jews, to return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they call these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of all that which had seen concerning this matter and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed, and with their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, those that join unto us, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, in every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. That's why I went through the whole thing. And Esther, the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters into all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim and their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined themselves, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed, the matters of the fasting and their cry. And that's through the fasting and their cry, the Most High heard the fastings and the cries to him to bring forth the victory. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim. It was written in the book, chapter 10, and the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia? That's in their books. But Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, just like Joseph was next unto the Pharaoh. But Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people and speaking peace to all his seed. That's right. All praise to the Most High. Yes. Oh, Lord, y'all. All praise to the Most High. About showing myself there was, I feel good knowing that, I get excited just knowing that, we got the victory, and the fact that there is, times when we were elevated for who we were and who we are, rather than being degraded as we are today. Because we're going to be elevated forever and ever and ever in time to come, in our future. We just got to be ready. Get ourselves ready, stay ready with the Most High. While myself outside, boss, shop myself outside. It's going to be all right. Look at Proverbs 16 and 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Most High. No matter how it is that, because he planned on dealing with them, trying to see when they're going to do it, right? When they're going to kill us. Cows and pearl, right? Leviticus 16 and 8. Leviticus 16 and 8. But it was reversed. We got the victory. Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for the Most High and another lot for the scapegoat. See, one for the Most High on the right side, I'll say, one for the a lot for the scapegoat, for the sins of the people. Aaron shall bring the goat upon the which the Most High lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. See, but the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Most High to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. This is what he did. This is what we did in our sacrifices and so forth. There were certain laws, as I say, who know the law of sacrifice? Certain laws that we had, and even, bringing forth sacrifices for the atonement of our sins. Hamashiach was the ultimate sacrifice. That's why we have grace, and mercy. But this did not, it tells you in Hebrews 10 and 4, just in case, because some of you might think they talking about building another temple over there, something where they're going to be sacrificing animals. This is what the Most High said, Hebrews 10 and 4. But it's not possible. He said it's impossible. It is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats could take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh, or Mashiach come into the world, he said, sacrifice and offerings thou would have not, but a body hast thou prepared me. That's what Mashiach Yahushua. You see? But it's like above when he said, sacrifice and offerings and burnt offerings and offerings for sin thou would have not, neither have pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. He said, Lord, I come to do thy will, O Most High. You take away the first and we establish the second, man. By the which will we are sanctified, meaning cleaned up through the offering of the body of a Mashiach Yahushua once for all. That all is a certain number. Straight up. Look at Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy 4 and 29. See, a lot of things that we do, these nations don't have no creativity. They do try to do the same thing. They use the same verbiage that we use and what we did, and without understanding, though, create their own way of doing things from the way we do things or have done things. Deuteronomy 4, chapter, verse 29. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Most High thy power, thou shalt find him. If thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul, you're going to find the Most High. Not just when you want to pray for something that you need, want him to do. Then in the end say, so be it. Let it be done. By saying amen. That's what that means. And that's ZUS last name. When thou art in tribulation, Jacob's trouble's coming. And all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days that we in the last days now, y'all. If thou turn to the Most High thy power, you got to turn to the Most High. And shall be obedient unto his voice. Why are you going to be obedient if you're going to not do what's righteous in his eyes? We got to be obedient to his voice. For the Most High thy power is a merciful power. Mercy is not getting something you do deserve to get. Our power is a merciful power. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee. nor forget the covenant, that contract, that agreement of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. For acts now are the days that are past, which were before us, since the day that the Most High created man upon the earth, and acts from the one side of heaven even to the other, whether there have been any such thing as this great thing is, or have been heard like this. Did ever people hear the voice of the Most High speaking out of the midst of a fire, as thou hast heard and lived? Telling them, man. Or have the Most High say to go and to take him, a nation, from the midst of another nation, by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great terrors, according to all that the Most High, your power, did for you in Egypt before your eyes? I mean, you got to look at all this is said to us, the Israelites, and we still murmured and talked about the Most High like he was nothing. We made a golden calf. Unto thee it was shown, to us it was shown, that thou mightest know that the Most High, he is the power. There was none else beside him. Out of heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee. And upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought thee out in the sight of his mighty power out of Egypt, to drive out nations, 7 nations greater than us, from before thee, greater and mightier than thou art, to bring thee in, give thee their land for inheritance, as it is this day. And say, know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart. You better consider it in our mind, that the Most High, he is the power in heaven above and upon the earth beneath, and there was none else. No one else but him. Thou shalt keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Most High thy power giveth thee forever. That's the law. Deuteronomy 5:22. These words the Most High spake unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire of the cloud and of the thick darkness that he dwell in. So I dwell in thick darkness, y'all, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he, the Most High, wrote them in 2 tables of stone. And he, the Most High, wrote these commandments in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me, unto Moses. Come on. This is very important. A lot of people, they don't want to hear about the Most High, but they want to just hear about themselves, man. They don't know about the Most High. I'll tell you that. But he only hope. He only hope. I don't know what hope y'all have. He my only hope. I know that. I'm gonna keep on exalting him. I don't like nobody that don't. Got a problem with you on that one. For real, for real. Joel 2:12. Therefore also, now, said the Most High, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart, rend your mind, and not your garments. So we remember Mordecai ripped he tore his garment. That was our custom. We would tear our garments and weep and pray to the Most High, to the Most High. He said, weep your mind, rend your mind, and not your garment, he said. Rend your heart, which rend your mind, and not your garments, and turn unto the Most High your power. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repent of him of the evil. Who knoweth if he will return and repent? Because his ways and thoughts not our ways and thoughts. Or leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto the Most High your power. For real, for real. Look at 2 Chronicles 7:14. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, who are the Israelites, they defined in Exodus 3 and 10, my people, so you know it's not talking about any other race but the 12 tribes of Israel, Exodus 3 and 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. That's the my people right there. Going back to 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. If my people, who are the children of Israel, which are called by my name, Yah Sharala, shall humble themselves. It's very important, you know. Shall humble themselves. Therefore, you can't be prideful before the Most High. And pray and seek my face. Does he turn his face away from us? And turn from their wicked ways. We got to keep the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Heal their land. Now mine eyes shall be open and mine ears attentive unto the prayer that is made in this place. But now have I chosen and sanctified this house, as King Solomon is saying, that my name may be there forever, and mine eyes and mine heart to be there perpetually. Most High said you're going to be there. As for thee, if thou wilt walk before me, as David told King Solomon, if he walked before the Most High, as David, thy father, walked, and do according to all that I commanded thee, and shall observe my statutes and my judgments, then will I establish the throne of thy kingdom, according as I have covenanted it with David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man to be ruler over Israel. But if you turn away, which he did, he married all them strange women, bow down to their gods, made temples to their gods. But if you turn away, forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land, which I have given them. And this house, which I have sanctified for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. This house, which is high, shall be an astonishment to every one that passes by it, so that he shall say, why has the Most High done thus unto this land and unto this house? So why the Most High made the land desolate and this house looking like, I mean, that house was, you can't imagine how beautiful that. Solomon was the richest man in the world. He can make that house look like, I mean, you can't even imagine how beautiful it was, because you can't see nothing over there. Nobody can say this is Solomon's house. This is the house that Solomon built. This is David's house. You know, what I said, you can't find that. I've been over there. You can see nothing but dirt. When he said gonna make the land desolate, like he said it, he made it desolate, y'all. And it shall be answered, because they forsook the most high power of their fathers. Get us? We forsook the most high power of our fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt and laid hold on other gods. That's why I say these religious, man, that's not dealing with the commandments of the Most High, the laws of the Most High, and worship them. They worship them. That's why Moses say, hey, let them save you in the time of your trouble and serve them, not him. Therefore have he brought all this evil upon them. See, The Most High created evil for those that draw evil to them. You do what he say do, you ain't gonna have to be concerned about that. Because you're gonna be doing what he say do. You're gonna be looking at, hey, you working in this vineyard, man, trying to do as best you can, not only for yourself, but for someone else to be able to be edified more and to get closer to him. Other than that, you're wasting your time, man. You might as well go back to Christian sanity. That's an individual thing, man. This is about a nation. We're a nation. We're trying to bring our nation back to the Most High. At least that's what I feel we should be doing. I mean, what's the point of gathering our people together and you gathering together for what? To worship you? So they think you, so they can think that you gonna be somebody that's gonna save them. That's how people, we look for man. Ain't no man gonna save us. Period. It's the Most High. What Moses said. Deuteronomy 31:29. What do you say? For I know that after my death, Moses telling us, you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and sacrificial laws that we just seen was written by the Most High's finger. And evil will befall you. You see that? For I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I commanded you, was given us the laws and the commandments and the judgments and the statutes of the Most High. So when you don't do the laws, statutes, and commandments and judgments of the Most High, evil will befall you in the latter days. Here we are. Here to the time of the future. Here into the time that we live in now. He said, evil will befall you in the latter days. Why? Because ye will do evil in the sight of the Most High. How you do evil in the sight of the Most High? By not doing what he say do. His laws, statutes, commandments. You can't say you have faith with somebody you don't even believe in. You don't even know. He just got to answer your prayer, but you don't even know him. And don't desire to know more. That's my problem, man. It's like, and to the Most High too. That's why I say the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Most High to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. That's why he told us, man. 2 Ezra 8. 2 Ezra 8. We have to look at what's being said so you don't fall into that category. 2 Ezra 8:50. He said, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. We're dwelling in the world now. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. People are not going to be humble. Say they have walked in great pride. So many great miseries going to be done to us that's living in this earth today. Because people are walking in great pride. That's why we can't roll like that. Go to Matthew the 15th chapter. And start at verse 1. Then came the two of Mashiach Yahushua, scribes and Pharisees. Pharisees were the ones that were like knowing the law and dealing with the government. And they knew they were dealing with the government and they knew the laws of the Most High, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? In other words, why do disciples transgress the tradition of men? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. Tradition when you had to wash your hands, eat bread. Look what Mashiach told them. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of the Most High by your tradition? Hmm? That's why he called, look, verse 7, he said, ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this our people. This people, we the Israelites, draw nigh or near unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Like a lot of people, they, I don't know, it's like they look at when the book is open, they hold it down. They want to be holding it down, but when the book is closed, it's one thing for sure. You can't fake it but so long. That would call you hypocrites. Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw near me with their mouth, like they really into this, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Your mind is far from me. Why? Because you don't really know enough of him. When I turn the page and I'm in Jeremiah, where you at? When I turn the page and I'm in Ecclesiastes, where he's at? You there? Because look what he said. I mean, just in case you think he's not. He said, look, Luke 24 and 44. He said, and he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which are written in the law of Moses and in the prophets. That's from first 5 books of the Bible, and all the prophets all the way to Malachi, and in the Psalms, that David wrote, over 150, concerning me. Concerning me. Then open, once he showed himself in the law of Moses and the first 5 books of the Bible, and in all the prophets all the way to Malachi, and in the Psalms concerning himself. That's what Mashiach Yahushua is showing the disciples himself in the Old Testament that most religions don't deal with. Then open he their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. That's very important. That's why I know for a fact that all you that dealing with this New Testament doctrine, you're not dealing with understanding of Mashiach Yahushua. Because you don't see it. Look, he said, look, Hebrews 10 and 7. That's the closest thing you try to be saying you down with is him, and you're not down with him. I ain't even talking about the Most High. I mean, y'all just didn't forgot about him. Even some Israelites, y'all just forgot about him. All praises, APTT, you can't say all praise to the Most High. Come on, man. Don't shortchange the Most High. He our only hope. Hebrews 10 and 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O Most High. See? That's what Mashiach was saying. We're in the volume of the book. What is he repeating? Same thing that's written in Psalms 40 and 7. I mean, that's what I say. You got to know this Bible, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, to know that basically when you walk there, it wasn't no New Testament. It was only the law and the prophets. That's it. That's it, y'all. The Old Testament. So y'all don't know it. Y'all don't know it. Look, Psalms 40 and 7. Then said I, lo, see if it sound familiar. I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O my power. Yeah, thy law is within my heart. So how you going to dismiss the fact that he's telling you that the law, your law, the Most High's law is in his mind? The heart is the mind. What do you think? So how you going to eliminate what he's saying here that he's repeating in Hebrews 10 and 7? It's the same thing. You'll see if you go back and forth. You can go back and forth. But it says something in the New Testament, gives you understanding of what it is that's already said in the Old Testament. Because that's all they had to go by. The law and the prophets. But I don't know. People they caught up in this spell. So they deceive all the nations through their sorceries, their witchcrafts. Trying to get you out of that, that deep darkness, man, that gross darkness that they have you in, man. Acts 13 and 15. Break this down. Tell your preacher to break this down. And after the reading of the law and the prophets, and show me where they read in the New Testament, anywhere. Paul, who they believe in, show me he read Revelations. Show me what Paul ever wrote, read anything concerning the book of Revelations, from the first chapter to the 22nd chapter, verse 21. Because y'all believe in Paul. Y'all put Paul over Mashiach Yahushua. And he was killing people that called on the Mashiach Yahushua name. You all realize that? He had to suffer for what he did. But Shama Mashiach Yahushua, he was against that. And after the reading of the law and the prophets, that's the Old Testament, the rulers of the synagogues said unto them, saying, ye men and brethren, if you have any word of exhortation for the people, say on. Then Paul, who y'all believe in more so than Mashiach Yahushua, you pork chop eating preachers, stood up and beckoning with his hand, said to the men of Israel, not to anyone else, and ye that fear the Most High, give audience, right? But Paul is dealing with what? The reading of the law and the prophets, y'all. Come on. Over and over again. It's got to be brought out to you because Mashiach told you this. Like he said, he called them hypocrites. Hypocrites. He said in Matthew 7:21, he said, well, everyone that said unto me, Mashiach, Mashiach, Yahushua, Yahushua, Yeshua, Yeshua, Ashaya, Ashaya, Jesus, Jesus, Christ, Christ, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. What was the will of the Most High that we just read about? Mashiach said he's going to do the law, his laws, the Most High's laws, moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws that we keep now. Not everyone that said unto me, Mashiach, Mashiach, Yahushua, Yahushua, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Mashiach, Mashiach, have we not prophesied in thy name? Have we not prophesied by Shama Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the anointed Savior? Have we not prophesied in the name of Jesus Christ? And in thy name, in the name of Jesus Christ, by Shama Mashiach Yahushua, have cast out devils. And in thy name, in the name of Jesus Christ, in the name of Mashiach Yahushua, by Shama Mashiach Yahushua, I'm just saying what y'all be dealing with. In his name, that y'all think that's his name. That is his name, not Jesus. J was pretty much started being used about 1624 AD. So it definitely wasn't his name. When he came and met Paul on the road to Damascus in Acts 26 and 14, what did he speak? He spoke the Hebrew tongue. Many will say to me in that day, Mashiach, Mashiach, Yahushua, Yahushua, Jesus, Jesus, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. This is what he said. And then when I professed to them, I never knew you. I didn't know you. Did you know me when I was talking in Jeremiah? Did you know me when I was talking in Zephaniah? Did you know me when I was talking in Haggai? Did you know when I was talking in Moses' writings? Did you know me? I just told you that I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me. Did you know me? He said, depart from me, I never knew you. And then when I professed to them, I never knew you. That's deep. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. That's serious right there. That's real serious. He told us in Matthew 6:33, he said, seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness. And his righteousness. And his righteousness. I'm telling you this. And all these things shall be added unto you. So how do you seek the Most High and his righteousness if you don't know what righteousness is? That's defined in the Bible. Deuteronomy 6:25. That's why I tell y'all, man, these definitions from the Bible is more important than what you can ever believe. Tell me righteousness means something different than this. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness. This is how we gonna find the word righteousness. If we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High our power, as he hath commanded us. You see that? That's why Revelation 14 and 12, I mean, these are basics now. Here's the patience, which deal with time, waiting on time, of the saints who are the 12 tribes of Israel. And you read Psalms 148:14. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of a Mashiach that was shy, going to the Most High on our behalf. Why we not sacrifice animals anymore? He's that ultimate atonement for our sins. But if you don't look at it like that, I don't know what to tell you, because you've been lied to. You've been lied to. And behind all the lies that you've been, forced to accept, and some of you accept them without question, you're in darkness. Ignorance, not knowing. That's why, it's beautiful to be able to go into this book and look at, stories like Purim, and remember, how we got the victory. Did you hear enough to know how we got the victory? The same way that we got the victory there, I could take you to the time. And we have like 4 holy days that we honor, holidays that we honor ourselves, that are getting the victory over the enemy, which generally is the Edomites. That's head honcho in charge, trying to destroy us. You have Feast of Dedication. We just had that. That came before Purim. We have Purim. And we have destruction of Nicanor. We had that. That's the day before Purim. Let me show you that. That's in the last book, 2nd Maccabees. It talks about that. In 2nd Maccabees, the 15th chapter, and once this wicked Nicanor head was cut off, and he pointed his hand up, and he cut his shoulder off from that hand, hung it up in Jerusalem. 2nd Maccabees 15, and we can start at verse 35, 36. Say he hanged also Nicanor's head upon the tower, and evident and manifest sign unto all the help of the Most High. Praise the Most High. And they ordained all with a common decree in no case to let that day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is called Adar. The same thing we're reading about in Esther. This is what it says: the day before Mordecai's day. See, Mordecai, they call it Purim. They call it Mordecai's day. Remember, he was elevated. Mordecai was elevated. All you that was in there, to hear the whole lesson. So that's the 13th day. We call it destruction of Nicanor, that we have on the 13th of the 12th month. The 14th and the 15th day are the days that we got the vengeance on our enemies in the Persian Media Empire. Now this didn't exist during the time that we had Mordecai's Day. This came after that because we're in the Greek Empire. And the Greeks took down, Alexander the Greek took down the Persian Media Empire. We're in the Persian Media Empire. That's why I say the Bible is a history book. So now this is ordained to be a day before Purim, or Mordecai's Day, as they call it here, which is on the 14th and the 15th, where the day of destruction of Nicanor is on the 13th, that day before Purim, or Mordecai's Day, you see? So it all goes together, you know what I mean? How can you gainsay on this? You can't gainsay on it. But Job 13:4 says what? Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. They're gonna lie to everyone, man. Ye are all physicians of no value. No value at all. Psalms 119:69. Everybody been lied to think their lies are the truth. That's why we got to look at this Bible and dissect it for what it is. Psalms 119:69. The proud have forged a lie against me, but I will keep thy precepts with my whole heart. See, the proud, they the ones forge lies against you. But remember, these last days will be great miseries. We read that in 2nd Ezra 8:50. There'll be great miseries on this world, in this world at the last days, because people that walked in great pride. Look at Proverbs 21:1. I'm just about finished. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Most High, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. That's why the king's heart, king's mind is in the hand of the Most High. And that's what you've seen happen when Esther had all of us as the Israelites pray and fast for 3 days. And she put ashes and dung, feces all over her head, her beautiful face, her beautiful head, and tore her hair out of her head in humility. And she prayed that the king, because the king could have put her to death for you to put a scepter and turn it down. But no, he put it up on her. She got favor in the king's mind. The king's heart is in the hand of the Most High. But the Most High honored her prayer. And he honored we, the children of Israel, as we fast and pray. And knowing that we're going to be put to death for almost 11 months. Without not 11 months, I'll say it was only because we narrowed it down to, it was about 2 months. And then the decree changed, and we had all those months to prepare ourselves to kill our enemies. They the ones that was in the fright mode, you know, fearing what we're going to do on that 14th and 15th day of that last month, the 12th month. They're the ones who were scared. Micah 2:12. All praise and glory to the Most High. I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as the sheep of Basra, as the flock in the midst of their fold. They shall make great noise for reason of the multitude of men. The breaker is come up before them. They have broken up and have passed through the gate and are gone out of it, and their king shall pass before them, and the Most High on the head of them. Straight up, man. All praise and glory to the Most High. Yeah. Tells you in Micah 2:1. It say, woe, destruction to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Isn't that what the Most High brought to Haman? He devised evil against the children of Israel. He devised iniquity against the Most High chosen people. When the morning is light, they practice it. Remember his wife, Zeresh, and all his friends plotted to kill us, make them gallows, kill Mordecai. And all of them that side with Mordecai don't want to bow to this Edomite Haman. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. Remember, he built them gallows in the morning. When the morning came, he built them gallows to hang us on, because it is in the power of their hands. He had that power. Remember, he was right under the king. And they covered fields and take them by violence. Everything they got. They covered fields. They look at what they want, desire what you have, and they take it by violence. They too. They're taking things by violence right now. And take them by violence in houses and take them away. For they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And he said, what he planned on doing? That's what he planned on doing. Therefore, thus said the Most High, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, for which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, proudly, for this time is evil. Straight up. This time is evil. And knowing that, if you don't get closer and closer and closer as you can to the Most High, that's why he said in verse 10, arise ye and depart. But this is not your rest. It's not our rest, y'all. Because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword of destruction. You know that? It's going to destroy you, even with a sword of destruction. You be part of this world. That's why James 4:4 says what? I was going to destroy you. Part of this world if you want to. It's an evil world. James 4:4 says what? Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High? It's what's going to destroy you. You at war with the Most High. You going to fight the Most High? He said the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High. That means you at war with him. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High. So you all joined to this world when the Most High told us in Revelation 18:4. I mean, it's all here. You can talk to you how you want to hear. That's another thing. But he said that. I heard another voice from heaven saying, Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. Her sins. Breaking the Most High's laws. The same sins, the laws that they say you're not under, but you're under grace. Come on. You're going to be judged by the Most High's laws. That you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. He can bring plagues on this earth, man. People ain't recognizing. Some of you already got plagues. Don't even realize they ain't just manifested. They turn stuff, when they turn stuff up on you that you got inside you, man, you're gonna find out. Shoot, man. This man is the beast. Y'all play with him if you want to. You better understand. You better know the Most High. I know that. He our only hope. You the only hope. I mean, they got all kind of things planned. Already planned certain things. I mean, what would you do when they tell you this gonna help you? And it don't help you, but it be something for them, their benefit. We gullible, man. Nothing but a bunch of robots and robotees. Job 9. I don't care. People be talking about they this way, they radical this way, that way. Do this. Okay, yes, my son. Okay, all right. And did what he told him to do. Job 9:21. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. That's right, man. He said, though he be perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. But see, Job messed up. What the Most High said, Shaitan on him because he went off. He was off. See, one thing I'll tell you, knowledge puffs up, and riches and all the things you can get can puff you up, you know. And in the end, you got to deal with it. No matter what, we got to deal with the Most High. And that's what people really, want to dismiss to the fact that they be in their own mind. But then, okay, well, how do you justify your mind of thinking from these scriptures? That's why the Most High said, seek ye out of the book of the Most High and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want to make. You can't mess nothing with it. Not even your own mind, your own thoughts. You can't match nothing with this. If you say something, it's got to coincide with this. This is why the Most High Jack Job. Some of you might, put yourself there. I hope you don't. It said Job 34:4. Job 34:4. But Job has said, I am righteous. And the Most High have taken away my judgment. But Job have said, I am righteous. That's not cool with the Most High. Think you all that. Man, we ain't there at all. This day we might have had a great day. We ain't sinning or whatever, but who knows? What'd he say? Job 33:9. I am clean without transgression. I am innocent. Neither is there iniquity in me. There it is. Behold, he findeth occasions against me. Yeah, because you say you're righteous. You think you are that. He counted me for his enemy. You see? Because he said it was righteous. Surely this day, you have a days where you have good report and what we're supposed to be doing daily as being an Israelite. Everybody not an Israelite every day. Everybody don't perform themselves as an Israelite every day. That's a lot of the problems that we have. But it's all right. It's just work on. We got to work to get better. Proverbs 14:8. Proverbs 14:8. The wisdom, which is the proper application of knowledge, and knowledge is the proper information that's gathered. And once you gather the proper information, you have to apply it in your life to receive wisdom from the Most High. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way. You have to understand his way. But the folly of fools is deceit. The folly of fools is lies. And ain't no lies going through the kingdom. We read Revelation 22:15, it says, he that loveth and maketh a lie is going to be without the kingdom. The folly of fools is deceit. That's why they fools, because they lying to everybody. That's why I said in Proverbs 13:13, whoso, no matter who it is, despises the word shall be destroyed. You hear that? Whoso, no matter who it is, despises the word shall be destroyed. But he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. You that are afraid to break the commandments, you're going to be rewarded. It tells you in Proverbs 12:8. A man shall be commended according to his wisdom. That's not in this world. Most people look at your status and what you got, how much money you got, how you living, and this, that, and the third, whatever. But it tells in the scripture, a man shall be commended according to his wisdom. But he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised. A man's supposed to be commended according to his wisdom. This world, they look at, a status flow of your money or whatever it is that they think you have. They don't even know what you have. They just look at how they make a decision on how you live from whatever it is their perspective is of this world. That's why they patternize everything from the way this world of Esau, how he have it set up, and think they rolling like they're supposed to be rolling as an Israelite. No. Through desire, this is Proverbs 18:1. Through desire, a man having separated himself from the way of the world, seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. You hear that? When you separate yourself, you can intermeddle yourself with all wisdom, But a fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. And if you don't have understanding, then you don't know how to depart from evil. To tell you that in the book of Job. You're a fool not to want understanding, not to get understanding. And to understand the Most High's commandments is going to give you the means to be able to be accepted of him, and he can give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But if not, then, hey, Job 28:28 tells you this. And unto man, he said, behold, the fear of the Most High, to be afraid, to be scared of the Most High, that is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding. But how you depart from evil if you don't know the commandments of the Most High? You're not working on the laws, the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws every day. Some days you this way, some of y'all wishy-washy. Don't know how you're gonna be. You be one way, you think they're this way, they ain't that way. So you have to really look at it. Many people I done dealt with, I know spirits, man. For real. You wishy-washy, man. Don't know how you're gonna be. I know one thing, you better be knowing these scriptures and roll with these scriptures through the time that's coming, because we at war. We at war. It's wartime. Better believe that. You know what rock you need to come up from under. It's real. Look, Psalm 18:13. The Most High also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice. He's speaking thunder. That's his voice. Hailstones and coals of fire. Yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them. And he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Most High, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils, man. Come on. Job 4:7. Here, that's why we have opportunity, especially knowing this truth. Job 4:7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish being innocent, or what were the righteous cut off? Those who keep the commandments of the Most High cut off. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity, just like we seen Haman plow iniquity against the children of Israel, and sow wickedness, and he sowed wickedness, reap the same. Oh, we're gonna hang Mordecai. Oh yeah. Well, see what the Most High have to say about it. Who ended up getting hung? Haman and his 10 sons. They killed him before they hung him. They were dead. They hung him on the gallows anyway. He was already dead. But they hung him on the gallows, all 10 of his sons. That's why I say, by the blast of the Most High, they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. He take back his breath, he finished. Better believe it. That's why I think I'm gonna go into look at 2 Thessalonians 2. If you look at the first one, I don't think it went up on my YouTube page. I don't know what happened from last night's lesson. I know it's on HOI LA. It's on there. If you want to see the last night's lesson. 2 Thessalonians 2. Let's got verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. Don't let nobody lie to you by any means. And that's the whole objective. They deceive, tell you in Revelations 18 and 23, they deceive all the nations through their sorceries, through their witchcraft. They say, let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. We just read about one who was named Haman during the Persian Media Empire. And the same people are the same people that's in charge of the world today, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, all that is called the Mashiach Yahushua, or that is worship. Come on. Can't get no clearer than this. Come on. So that he, as the Most High, as the Mashiach Yahushua, sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Come on. That's why what Haman wanted to do. He want everybody to do what? Bow down to him. Right? That's what he came to the king saying. I want everybody to be bowing down to me. That Edomite. That's why it says, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High. So they paint their pictures in the Bibles. No other people paint their pictures in the Bibles but them. So the white man, Edomites, or that is worship. So that he, as the Most High, as a Mashiach Yahushua, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Who the temple of the Most High? It's found out. You know, ain't no temple. They tore the temple down. 70 AD. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Who the temple? He sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, that he is a Mashiach Yahushua. Just like we just see with Haman. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? So who is he talking to? Let's go back to verse 1. Let's see if we can find out who Corinthians is talking to. Paul, called to be an apostle of a Mashiach Yahushua through the will of the Most High, and Sophinas, our brethren, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth. Okay? Who the church? Go to Acts 7:38. This is he that was in the church. Let's read verse 37 so you know what we're talking about. This is that Moses, going all the way back to Moses in the New Testament. That they don't like to go into the Old Testament, but we in the New Testament, you talk about the law of Moses during the time of us being in the wilderness. This is that Moses was said unto the children of Israel, who we are, a prophet shall the Most High your power raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me. Him shall ye hear. That's Deuteronomy 18:15 and Deuteronomy 18 and 18. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel, which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, who received the lively oracles to give unto us. So the church are the children of Israel. Point blank. So when you see Paul is saying to the church, he's going to say to the church in Corinthians, Thessalonians, Philippians, all these different lands, talking to who? The Israelites. Unto the church, 1 Corinthians 1 and 2, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, the land of Corinth. We call ourselves Corinthians because more than likely we are Hellenized Jews, Greek-speaking Jews, We're the ones that was against the law for us to call ourselves Israel in the Greek Empire. We're in the Roman Empire here, y'all. So all that time between the Greek Empire to the Roman Empire, it was against the law to call ourselves an Israelite, or we were put to death. They were killing us. That's why Mashiach said this. You gotta understand. That's why I say, if you don't know nothing about history, the Bible is a history book. That's why he said this. Why do you think he's saying this? In Matthew 11:11. You said that. But 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven, which we are, the kingdom of heaven, suffereth violence. You hear that? And the violent take it by force. Who was ruling during the time of John the Baptist? The so-called white man, the Romans. He said, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the time that he's speaking right then, the kingdom of heaven, which we are, the 12 tribes of Israel, the kingdom of heaven, suffereth violence, and the violent, he called the so-called white man, the violent take it by force. You see? That's why, going back to 1 Corinthians 1 and 2, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth. We, the Israelites, call ourselves Corinthians by the lands we lived in, so we wouldn't be identified as Israelites. To them that are sanctified, cleaned up by Shalom Mashiach Everside, called to be saints. Who is that? Who the saints? Called to be saints. Psalms 148:14. Psalms 148:14 defines who the saints are, called to be saints. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. Just the definition of the saints, even of the children of Israel, who we are people near to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. So Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, and the whole New Testament talking to the children of Israel, point blank. It says called to be saints. With all that in every place call upon the name of a Mashiach Everside, our power, both theirs and ours. Why say theirs and ours? Because both theirs talking about Peter and Mark and John and Luke and all the apostles that was raised with a Mashiach Everside. So Paul being outside, he would be like a foreigner. He would be like the scattered. He'd be like the uncircumcision. The ones that call themselves the circumcision rolling with a Mashiach Everside because they think that they better than them that's outside of the ones that living in the lands of Corinth and Philippi and Thessalonica and so forth. They think they better than them because they got a Mashiach Everside with them. That's why I said we seen one casting out demons in thy name. We forbade them. He said, leave them alone, man. If they're not against us, they fall apart. You know. That's how it is with a lot of y'all. Y'all feel like y'all the only ones having. You ain't the only ones having. I ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. We look. There's places that people know that you ain't even been. You ain't even thought about. Better understand. Don't put yourself in the Most High. Yeah, Most High is everywhere. Mashiach Everside is everywhere. He's bringing it. You know. Why you think you got to gather us from all four corners of the earth? Think about that. You ever thought about that? You got to gather us from all four corners of the earth. That's why we scattered among all nations. And that's how I leave it. Point blank. What difference do it make if you are Israelite? You ain't trying to do what you're supposed to do to make it to the kingdom and your name be written in the book of life and show somebody else how they could be written, their name could be written in the book of life. What's the point? What if Most High said, okay, well, you got yours, Paul got his, Peter got his, you know, John got his, and y'all got it. You know, don't leave these other saints coming like us right now. Leave them alone. Don't worry about them. Y'all got y'all's. What if they thought, okay, we made it? It's here because of us. This is for us. Today, I live today. Paul didn't have the books of Revelation. Peter, Mark, John, Luke, they didn't have the book of Revelation. We have it. But do you really understand it? Do it matter to you? I mean, do it for us. When you come and say, okay, well, this is your assignment for salvation. And you could care less. I mean, some of y'all just figure y'all got enough. I guess y'all know enough to make it to the kingdom. It's a lot to learn, y'all. Look at this. Even though little that we do know, at least I know a little bit. I don't know a lot, I know a little bit compared to what we got to learn. 1 Corinthians, 1st chapter. And verse 25. Look at verse 24. It's very important. But of them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, for those that are called, both Jews and Greeks. So it's the Israelites and the so-called white people? That's all? Is that what you think? Those Greeks, like I say, they Hellenized. These Corinthians, living in the land of Corinth, call themselves Corinthians, Israelites. It says with the saints, to the saints, with the saints. And mostly all the New Testament. They call themselves Greeks. Why? Because, let me show you. And certain things have to be, I guess, said over and over again, but it could be new people that's here. In the Greek Empire, this is why you see Jew to the Greek, Jew to the Gentile in the New Testament because of this fact. And Second Maccabees, this is the Greek Empire under wicked King Antiochus Epiphanes, one of Alexander's wicked king's sons that he had set over his kingdom when he died at the age of 32 years old. But this is for us. Look what it says. In Second Maccabees 6:6, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts. This is where they took away all our customs. You heard, if you go back and look at the lesson that I've done today and yesterday, even in the Persian and Median Empire, that was before we're here in the Greek Empire. You understand? What was Haman saying? Let me show you what they knew. They knew this. It was said. It was said. And Esther, 3rd chapter and 8th verse. This is in the Persian Median Empire. And Haman, who this whole conversation has been about all night, said, and Esther and Mordecai and King Ahasuerus, and Haman, this is an Edomite that the king put under him. King Ahasuerus put under him. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces, 127 provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse, meaning different from all people. You hear that? And their laws are diverse, different from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. That was him talking to the king, getting ready to have the king make a petition to kill us. Because our laws are not like anybody else's laws. Because when you read Psalm 96:5, it says, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Most High made the heavens, because they worship the sun, the moon, the stars, everything you could think of, except for the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we in the Greek Empire, and this is only, we knew who we were. You see, we knew to keep the laws and statutes, commandments of the Most High in the Persian Median Empire. But when we came into the Greek Empire, when the so-called white man came into power, that's why I told you in First Maccabees, all praise to the Most High. When you turn that page, you go right there, that's the Most High. All praise to the Most High. About Shalom, I'm saying. First Maccabees 1:9, it says this is Alexander the Greek taking down the Persian Median Empire we just read about in Esther. Here he is. That's why I say you got no history. You don't know about history. The Bible's a history book. What did it say? All praise to the Most High. It said, and after his death, that's after Alexander the Greek death, they all put crowns upon themselves, his 4 generals that he chose to rule his kingdom. So did their sons after them many years. So they passed it down to their sons many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. You see, evils are multiplied in the earth. When the Greeks came into power. You see that? That's why when you go to Second Maccabees 6 and 6. So I'm here because I'm telling y'all why they say to the Jew and to the Greek, to the Jew and to the Gentile in the New Testament. This is why. 2 Maccabees 6 and 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew or an Israelite. And if they did, what was the judgment? Verse 9. And whosoever would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles, being Hellenized, meaning Greek-speaking Jews, taking on the Greek customs and so forth, should be put to death. You hear that? And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the great misery. You see? That's why when you come to the New Testament, you see like to the Jew and to the Greek, to the Jew and to the Gentile. So let's go back here. And 1 Corinthians, we know that Corinth is talking to the Israelites that are scattered in the land of Corinth. And that's why Paul said, why he said in verse 2 of 1 Corinthians, first chapter, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, in the church of Israel. We define that in Acts 7:38. That's who was in the wilderness. To them that are sanctified, cleaned up by Shema Mashiach, that was said, the name of the Lord and Savior, called to be saints. The saints we find in Psalms 148:14. With all that in every place call upon the name of a Mashiach Yahweh, or Bashama Mashiach Yahweh. That's where we reach the Most High, both theirs and ours. Both theirs, that's not including Paul, that y'all like to believe in. Most of the Mashiach Yahweh say both theirs and ours. The ours is talking to the Corinthians. The Israelites that call themselves Corinthians. He's saying ours. Theirs and ours. You see? So now, when you see verse 24, but unto them which are called, well, saying called nobody but the Israelites, both Jews and Greeks. And the Greeks here are the Greek-speaking Jews that took on the Greek customs and culture and so forth. Mashiach, the power of the Most High and the wisdom of the Most High. The Mashiach said out of his own mouth in Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Said, because the foolishness of the Most High is wiser than men. You know, the foolishness of the Most High is wiser than men. And the weakness of the Most High is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. So not many wise men after the flesh of this world, knowing whatever they know from getting their degrees in this world, are called. We have in the Bible say, hey, what's this talking about? I don't know. I don't care if they have a triple or quadruple doctorate degree. That's why he said. But you know, for you see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men are after the flesh, not many mighty, I don't care how strong they are, not many noble, not those that's involved in politics and so forth, are called. But the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. You look at us foolish. They say, what school do you go to? Where did you graduate from? Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confuse the wise. And the Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And base things of the world and things which are despised have the Most High chosen. Yeah. And things which are not, to bring to naught, to nothing, things that are. That no flesh should glory in his presence. That's why going back to 1 Corinthians 3:16, back to the subject matter. Remember, he's sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, that he is a Mashiach Yahushua. Here we go. What's the temple of the Most High? Now that we know that Corinthians talking to the Israelites, He said what? 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not? Don't you know that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, we as the Israelites, we defile this body, this temple of the Most High is our body. Him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, whose temple ye are. So now, when you go back to 1 Thessalonians, now that we know the temple of the Most High is we, the 12 tribes of Israel, and you see what it says in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4, it says, who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High. You see how Haman wanted to be elevated. He wanted everybody to bow down to him. And Mordecai wasn't bowing down to him. He bowing down to no man. Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worship. He wanted to be worshiped. So that he asked the Most High, sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. That's what's up. That's what we just seen. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity, the mystery of this wickedness that he can bring forth does already work. Because he's where? In the Roman Empire. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Till he be taken out of the way. Till the time of the Gentiles over. And then, so that wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume, and the Mashiach shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And what's coming out of his mouth? Revelation 19:15. He's going to destroy with the spirit of his mouth. What's coming out of his mouth? Revelation 19:15. And out of his mouth go up a sharp sword. Hear that? A sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. He should kill the nations. How you going to take him out of the way? He going to kill the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. That's the law. The commandments of the Most High. He treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Most High. That's right. Yeah. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume, who Mashiach Yahushua shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. You see what's coming out of his mouth. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. You see that? All working of Satan. Why? Because, Satan told him, I said, what? He showed him all the kingdoms of the world and said, all could be yours if you do what? Bow down and worship me. What they've done. All the kingdoms of the world, even us ruling the business here, bow down and worship Satan. We wasn't dealing with being righteous during that time, man. From the time he showed them, I would say, all the kingdoms of the world to the end of the world, man, they worshiping Satan. And with all deceivableness, all lies and unrighteousness, not keeping the Most High's commandments, his laws, and them that perish, them that gonna be put to death. Why? Because they receive not the love of the truth. And we know the truth is what? We ain't said it all night, class. Psalms 119, 142, that righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So because they receive not the love of the truth, they don't receive the love of keeping the commandments and the laws of the Most High, that they might be saved. So how you going to think in your wildest dreams, you don't have to keep the truth and going to be saved from your enemies, from the hand of all that hate you. I'm talking about you pork chop people, preachers that's Israelites, that's out there teaching our people wrong. Come on, man. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, we define righteousness. Deuteronomy 6:25, Psalms 119, 172. It's there. Keeping of the commandments make you righteous. Doing what's right. What's wrong with doing what's right? What's wrong with being righteous? And with all the deceivableness of unrighteousness, and them that perish, them that's going to be put to death, because they receive not the love of the truth. They receive not the love of keeping the commandments of the Most High, the laws of the Most High, that they might be saved. For this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Like all these religions, they lies. Show me where your religion in the Bible. Show me the Most High. When we came out of the wilderness, came out of Egypt, I might say, was in the wilderness, that the Most High gave us the Catholic Church doctrine. Talk to me. The Jehovah's Witness church doctrine. Boop. See people leaving now. Talk to me. The Seventh-day Adventists, Lutheran, all these different religions that you follow, where they at? That the Most High gave those people that are the chosen of him, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, those religions. That's why I call it Christian insanity, because he's telling you. And for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned. I'm here to try and keep you from being damned, but you're going to be damned, he said. Who believe it not the truth, who believe it not that we not under the laws of the Most High. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. You can't get no clearer than this. That they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. So we got to deal with righteousness. Go to Deuteronomy 6:25. There's probably some new people. They're not going to go to the scripture to look at it. So, you know, y'all lazy. I'll call them out. I know y'all ain't going to go to it. So here it is. This is the definition of righteousness. So anything that's contrary to this is unrighteous. Okay? Ness, if you want to go there. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness. This is the definition of righteousness. If we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power, as he have commanded us, that's how you be righteous. So he's telling you, point blank, and let's look at Psalms 119, 142. We know our class, we know it by heart. We know these different definitions by heart. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So when you see the truth, it's talking about the laws of the Most High. Okay? And I got something for you Christians, you Christian insanity people too. They call yourself Christian. Listen at this. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 12. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness, have pleasure in not keeping the commandments of the Most High, not keeping the laws of the Most High. You're going to be damned, he's saying. Now, some of you might say, well, the truth is Jesus Christ. Okay, because you go to St. John 14 and 6. But let me give you the understanding of that. Now that we know that the truth is the laws, the commandments of the Most High, what is he saying here? Mashabbashai said unto them, this is St. John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me, right? So what is he saying? I am the way to show you how to follow the laws and the commandments of the Most High, which is the truth and the life. That's going to lead to everlasting life, y'all. No man cometh to the Father but by me. And there's no New Testament when he's saying it. So what is he saying? Bring it out spiritually. Because he's saying, no man come to the Father but by me. What is he really saying? Ain't no New Testament. There's only the law and the prophets. That's all. You can't show me nowhere he stood up in any temple and read from the New Testament. Wasn't no New Testament. New Testament was compiled in 325 AD, y'all. Come on. In the Council of Nicaea, they put all these books together. Then your Protestants took out the Apocrypha. Eventually, the 14 books here, y'all took that out of the King James 611 Bible. 14 books you took out. That's why y'all don't know but so much. You don't know the Greek Empire because it's right in here. You just know for the matter of fact, I don't even matter about what happened before the Roman Empire because y'all even know it. If you ain't studied history, the Bible is a history book. Look, where do it start? Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, I have created what? The heaven and the earth. What was before that? Talk to me. What was before that? The Bible's dealing with from the beginning to the very end of this world that we in right now. And talk about the world to come. But, you know, that's not dealing with history. That's dealing with a timeline of stories of what's going to happen, what happened in the past, the present that we're dealing with right now to the future. Point blank. That's the Bible. So he's telling you, he's the way to show you how to follow the laws, the commandments. Did he sin? He didn't sin. That's what he's telling you. He's an example. So I'm going to wind it down because I think I would, if I don't stop, I'll keep going. So I'm gonna wind it down. I'm gonna say, give me a like if you can, and share the video, and hit the bell so you know when I come on. I'm coming on. We have classes on the second day. Brother Sadiq have a class from 8 o'clock, and we have classes on the fourth day. I have class at 7 p.m. They always my classes usually be about 7 p.m. Pacific time, and the Sabbath night, 7 p.m. Then we'd be on street teaching on the streets of Hollywood on the Sabbath day, starting at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So I hope this was edifying. I hope you will share it or give me a like. It don't take much to give a like, you know, since y'all don't support financially, you can at least hit the bell for me. Give me a like so other people, other Israelites can help other people to be able to hear what it is. And your little finger pushing that button could help somebody else, you know, go in the books for you. Oh, they only got it because you pushed it and rolls it up to say, oh, wow, let me go and see what's going on here to be able to get this truth, y'all. And with that, I say, Kwam Most High, power of Abraham Master, Jacob, Kwam Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, and Kwam Yasharella, and I'm out. The water, y'all.